जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी 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 जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurun Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशात देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, verse number 22. Kim Chatra Bandhun Kalinopashishtan Kim Chatra Bandhun Kalinopashishtan Rashtra Nivataire Varo Pitani Itastavasan Panavasa Snanbhyo Vayonmukha Lokam Kim Shatrabandhun Kaliposhashishtan Rashtrani Vatairavaro Itasthavashana Panavasa Snanan Vayo Mukha Jivalokam Kim Shatrabandhun Kaliposhashishtan Rashtrani Vatairavaro इतस्ततो वा शनपानवास स्नानं वयो वायोन्मुखजीवलोकम् Synonyms Kim, whether Kshatrabandhun, the unworthy administrators, Kalina, by the influence of the age of Kali, Upashritan, bewildered, Rashtrani, state affairs, Va, or Tai, by them, Avaropitani, put into disorder, Ita, here, Tata, there, Va, or Asana, accepting foodstuff, Pana, drink, Vasaha, residence, Snana, bath, Vyavaya, sexual intercourse, Anmukha, inclined, Jivalokam, human society. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The so-called administrators are now bewildered by the influence of this age of Kali, and thus they have put all the state affairs into disorder. Are you now lamenting this disorder? Now the general populace does not follow the rules and regulations of eating, sleeping, drinking, mating, etc., and they are inclined to perform such anywhere and everywhere. Are you unhappy because of this? So, this is a conversation between bull and cow. Bull represent dharma and cow represent Mother Earth. So Dharma started asking this question to Mother Cow as when see like cow sad, crying, sitting at one place, right? And his three legs are gone. So there is a conversation happening between, and he is asking her this particular question or comment, right? Um, Explaining like her inquiry that so-called administrators are now bewildered by the influence of age of Kali, and thus they have put all the state affairs into disorder. Are you now lamenting this disorder? So, what is a disorder? Because rules and regulations are not getting followed, everything becoming like animalistic. You see in purport now. Purport: there are some necessities of life on a par with those of lower animals, and they are eating, sleeping, faring, and mating. These bodily demands are for both the human beings and animals. But the human being has to fulfill such desires not like animals but like human beings. A dog can mate with a bitch before the public eyes without hesitation. but a human being does so, the act will be considered a public nuisance and person will be criminally prosecuted. Therefore, for the human being, there are some rules and regulations, even for fulfilling common demands. The human society avoids such rules and regulations when it is bewildered by the influence of the age of Kali. In this age, people are indulging in such necessities of life without following the rules and regulations, and this deterioration of social and moral rules is certainly lamentable because of the harmful effect of such beastly behavior. In this age, the fathers and guardians are not happy with the behavior of their wards. They should know that so many innocent children are victims of bad association avoided by the influence of this age of Kali. We know from Srimad Bhagavatam that Ajamila, an innocent son of Brahmana, was walking down the road and saw a Shudra pair sexually embarrassing. This attracted the boy, and the later on the boy became the victim of all the debaucheries. From a pure Brahmana, he fell down to the position of wretched Ruchin, and it was all due to the bad association. There was but one victim like Ajamil in those days, but in this age of Kali, the poor innocent students are daily victims of cinemas which attract men only for the sex indulgence. The so-called administrators are all untrained in the affairs of a Kshatriya. The Kshatriyas are meant for administration, as the Brahmanas are meant for the knowledge and guidance. The word Kshatra Bandhu refers to the so-called administrators or persons promoted to the post of the administrator without proper training by the culture and tradition. Nowadays, they are promoted to such exalted posts by the votes of the people who are themselves fallen in the rules and regulation of life. How can such people select a proper man when they are themselves fallen in the standard of life? Therefore, by the influence of the age of Kali, everywhere, politically, socially, or religiously, everything is topsy turvy, and therefore, for the sane man, it is all regrettable. Translation: the so called administrators are now bewildered by the influence of the age of Kali, and thus they have put all the state affairs into disorder. Are you now lamenting disorder? Now the general populace does not follow the rules and regulation for eating, sleeping, drinking, and mating. They are inclined to perform such anywhere and everywhere. Are you unhappy because of this? So we can very well relate how Prabhupada explained in the purport in the current time and age. Um, the rules and regulations are not getting followed as prescribed here or as prescribed in the Shastra. Um, Main thing like uh, uh, animal and human being, there is a distinction. Human beings can discriminate or have a power to discriminate what is good, what is bad, what is to be done, what is not to be done. But the animals doesn't have that um, discrimination power. They just um, act by the whims. They just see something and they just immediately act without discriminating, without thinking whether it is right or wrong. So I was hearing a class where Srila Prabhupada was mentioning when we follow these four rules and regulations or regulatory principles, then we come to the platform of human being. Following the four regulatory principle is essential for us to come to the platform where we can become eligible or we at least become a human being, not an animal, and then start practicing bhakti onwards. That itself is very difficult. So we have to literally take a vow in front of spiritual master that I'll follow all these four regulatory principles, and there is always struggle between our mind, our senses, our social family relationship, everything we have to maintain. It's very hard. That's what we feel, right? And this particular time and age, it seems like we are, struggling very hard just to maintain the basic necessity of being a eligible human being to practice bhakti. Uh, and that is why it is mentioned very rare in age of Kali, in Kali Yuga. That's why Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Eva Kevalam. Kalau nasteva gatiranyatha. There is no other means in this age of Kali except chanting the holy name. The sooner we build the faith in that the only shelter for me is the holy name, is the better. We try to do multiple things. Well, I'll do this, I'll do that, and this and that, and these are all our conceptions. But what this verse says, it verse is stressing upon multiple times. You know, um, kalau nasteva gatiranyata. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. So this is repeated three times. Harer Nam, Eva Kevalam is the only. There is nothing like, oh, Harinam and this, Harinam and that. No, the only way for us to um, defeat the influence of age of Kali is the holy name. And uh, many times people or devotees sitting in, oh, Kirtan is happening, we can just go for class later. So, by our action and by our consciousness, we are basically putting holy name or kirtan as a lower priority. Hearing a class obviously is also holy name, glorifying the Lord. There is no difference. But then with our mind, we think, oh, kirtan chal raha hai, oh, बाद में चलते हैं. First वो कीर्तन ही होते रहता है, उसके बाद में class. No, actually kirtan is essential. That will purify us. And why kirtan happens before the class is not to fill the time or fill the gap. There's a misconception that we put kirtan in the beginning, oh, 5 to 5:30 kirtan rakhte so that to fill the time. It's not to fill the time. It is actually to purify the ether where we are sitting. It's to invoke the mercy of the Lord. It's to purify the consciousness. Every speaker, when they chant, start Krishna Katha, before that Prabhupada made a very beautiful system where Jai Radha Madhav Prabhupada, and Prabhupada also did himself, singing Jai Radha Madhava Kirtan, before starting the Bhagavatam. So we glorify the person Bhagavat, which is Lord Shri Krishna at the beginning by chanting his holy name, by praying him, and then we begin about him, which is Bhagavatam, pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna. So right now, if we relate how things are happening in this material world, um, we can very well relate with this verse. Rules and regulations are not getting followed. And at the end, Prabhupada writes, people themselves don't follow, and then they select somebody who doesn't follow it. So they can relate. And many times people say, oh, I selected this person as my president or prime minister or whoever it is, right? And I don't care about his or her personal life, what they do in their personal life. I don't care. I just care that he's doing economically good for me and my country and my family. He's creating jobs, he's securing the jobs and things like that. And I don't care about his personal life. That's what people say, and people vote according to that. So, when the consciousness of a people or voter itself is fallen, how could there be a leader who is like following all that? The main culprit is that, and that's why Prabhupada is mentioning the influence of age of Kali has overpowered in such a way that um, there is a tendency of human being to behave like an animal. At any place and anywhere, people start misbehaving. Young couple sitting at any place, public place, not caring who is watching, who is not watching. Start um, interacting with each other in an inappropriate way. So that is actually animal behavior, which Prabhupada is mentioning here uh, in this purport, because animal doesn't have any discriminative power, or they just do anywhere. They feel the urge to do it and then they just do it. So much captivated by senses that senses drags the consciousness away, and without mind is just bewildered, intelligence is fallen, and then just they do it. So how do we uplift? And like I was mentioning, Harir Nam, Eva Kevalam. Um, Out of 9 processes of devotional service, hearing and chanting is the most essential. Most essential. When we begin our Krishna consciousness, it begins with hearing. You know, Ato Shraddha Sadhu Sangha Bhajan Kriya. You know, when we become first time we come, first thing is like we hear, and by hearing we get to know, oh, this is what it is. Our intelligence, knowledge comes by hearing. And also, once the hearing transcendental words goes through ears into our heart through mind gets purified. So hearing and chanting, these are the two most essential things which we need to keep doing every day more and more and regularly. Sometimes we think, oh, Prabhupada's classes are very um, basic, but once you hear it, you will realize Prabhupada classes are very deep actually. Prabhupada give classes only 30 minutes at that time, but when you hear, you can understand that with what a depth Prabhupada is using that particular line and word. And when you contemplate, oh, why Prabhupada said this, then you can understand more and more. So likewise, his purports, it's so deep when you hear, when you read. So hearing with Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, or whoever speaker we like every day, philosophical hearing, Krishna Katha hearing, any hearing related to pastimes of the Lord, Tattva, anything is good. Whichever attracts our heart and where mind is getting consumed in hearing. There are several series like somebody may like to hear about Gajendra series. Oh, Gajendra's pastimes are very nice. Let me just hear the series from begin, to the end. And there are multiple classes. Amrendra Prabhu has very beautiful series. So we begin now. Nityananda Trayadashi is coming. Advaita Acharya's appearance day is coming Sunday. So we can always set our mood by listening to those classes of Sri Advaita Acharya. And when the appearance day comes, then we can meditate on his pastimes, his qualities, how Advaita Acharya used to worship Tulsi, used to worship Shaligram Sila by offering water of Ganges and Tulsi and praying to Lord Gauranga or Krishna to appear. He he is also he himself is like Mahavishnu, right? But then why he is praying for Krishna to come? Because he said only Krishna Prem can be given by Krishna. Hmm. Krishna Prem only can be given by Krishna himself. Nobody else can give Krishna Prem. So he invited Krishna. He was praying. And uh, by his intense prayers, the voice went directly and Krishna came. Um, so the point is holy name in this age. And I was hearing and then chanting. Now, to reduce the influence of age of Kali, um, which I was mentioning was earlier, Harir Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalav Nasteva Katiranyatha. So we are practicing for say XYZ number of years. And the more and more we try to practice, the more and more we realize, more and more time we spend. Our consciousness comes back and sets again to that point that chanting is the only means actually. Yes, services are required, services we must do. Um, we have to do what is required to do, what is asked us to do based on our capacity, our health, our current situation, time, anything. There is no pressure on you are doing less or others doing more, nothing like that. Whatever is our capacity, we do it, right? Without offending any Vaishnava to the best of our abilities. What I can do from my side, I'll do best of with my abilities, and rest leave up to um, our temple president or management and Krishna and let them handle, right? And if I can do it, I will do it. If it is something which is disturbing my daily spiritual life or daily family life, then I must reconsider that and take a step back, because we have to keep our um, all the angles, all our social aspect, our office work, our family life, our parental life, relation, all our basic relationship whom with we interact every day. We need to keep that in proper harmony, so that we get time or we can practice spirituality peacefully. You know, it is not that our goal is to maintain all our social angles or relationship very nice, and that's not the goal. Goal is actually to chant Krishna's holy name and hear about Krishna Katha and Krishna's holy name. That is our goal. To focus on that, to maintain that, to put our heart and soul into that, we have to maintain all other things. We have to keep all other things in balance. And sometimes what happens is we become a little bit overwhelmed, and that's Krishna's mercy, that we feel so much attracted uh, to the holy name, to the katha and to the services. Sometimes I just, and then sometimes we stretch too much and say, I don't care about my spouse or my children, just they just distract me, so I just will do and ignore them, right? Then what happens is it backfires us. It backfires us, and it later a point in time, oh, you always don't have time for us, and you're always going to the temple, you're always doing this and that. And then what happens is our uh, hearing and chanting gets disturbed. We don't want to do that. We want to basically make sure that rest of the things carefully are taken care, so that when I'm chanting, I'm able to focus. Otherwise, mind just goes here and there, right? Mind gets disturbed, and thought, and there's a quarrel um, between family members, and and disturbance. So we have to maintain an office angle also is there, keeping proper relationship with office colleagues, um, you know, with family in India. So I think we have to be very very careful. So that's basically Varnashram, then playing our part, playing our role very carefully, not offending. And it's not easy. And again, when I'm saying it, it's not like I'm doing it right. I'm also struggling to do that, to maintain that. But then as we do it, we learn. We learn from our mistakes. Well, I shouldn't have said this. Well, I should take a step back. The only thing which I so far learned from my mistakes is to calm. Keep calm and do not react. Let the time go. Let the time go. These impulses of mind will come, right? Our modes are very strong. Mode of passion, mode of ignorance, they are very, very powerful and strong. Particularly in this age of Kali, their influence is so powerful. So, as soon as we start feeling that there is some impulse coming to become angry and react, we have to hold ourselves and let the time go. Let the influence of that mode go down, and then we can use intelligence to react. But when that influence of mode which is there, our intelligence is gone. Our intelligence is stolen by the influence of that mode, and we react, and then later we lament. So who is suffering? I am only suffering for that. Eh? I experienced many times, and then I think I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have sent this message to this devotee. I shouldn't have said this to this devotee. Why did I do that? And then I lament, lament, lament. So I myself suffer for my own action. So the best is, I mean, we go through all of that. I mean, I'm sure all of us must be going through that experience, because we are still in this material world with these modes around us. So, like I'm saying, the best thing is take a pause, do nothing, don't say anything, don't act, don't speak anything, just maintain some distance, be quiet, let the time go. let the time go. And while time is going, pray Krishna intensely. My Lord, this is the situation. How do I handle this? Many times I learned Shamanand Krishna Prabhu's situation comes, he doesn't speak anything. He said, let's wait for some time. Let's think more on this. That's what he says. And then he will, we will just let that situation be there, and he will continuously pray and think more. See, when we are in the influence of the particular mode, we can't make a right choice. We are always going to make a wrong choice because we are influenced by the mode. So we have to take a step back and sit quiet and let the influence of goodness and ignorance, sorry, goodness of influence of the passion and ignorance go down. Let's come to the goodness. When our mind is calm, influence is down, then we can discriminate and use our intelligence. Well, if we do this, this is the repercussion. If we do this, that is the benefit. And then collectively, we can think more and make a right decision. It is very, very important. Sometimes we haphazardly make decisions, and then later point in time, all mess get created, and then we have to spend more time to clear that mess. So, um, so basically, taking step back, keeping ourselves, our mind and intelligence little bit, uh, not getting overpowered by these emotions or by the influence of the modes. Um, so that is most important thing. And again, it won't come in day way. Like I said, I am not there. I am also struggling, but I'm learning from my mistakes. And the good part is, like, we don't want to repeat those mistakes. We want to progress more and more. Because goal is, how can I keep my sadhana more stable? More stable meaning, how can I focus? Because if there is a disturbance, if some devotee gets offended by our words or our actions, what happens is holy name will not reciprocate. Holy name will basically, we will struggle in our chanting, because everybody coming to Krishna Community Center, whoever is chanting at least one round, or even neophyte devotees who probably would be devotees in their past life, are devotees of Lord Shri Krishna. And by knowingly, unknowingly, if somebody gets offended, then we struggle in our own sadhana. And now we may say, well, this is required for discipline, this is required for standards and things like that. But above and beyond standards, above and beyond rules and regulation, above and beyond everything else, it is the emotions and feelings of the devotees, whether the devotee is getting hurted or not. Anything and everything can be changed, you know. But the um, what devotee is feeling, is he feeling dishonored, disrespected? See, communication standards and rules and regulation, things can be communicated well. Actually, there are platforms where things can be communicated, but then communicating those things versus making them feel bad, these are two separate things. Everybody understands good things. Nobody has a wrong intention. If I'm telling, well, in kitchen these things needs to be done, this and that, right? Everybody understands that what we are saying is for good. Gas should not be on, this should be like this, floor should not be dirty. What we are saying is good, and everybody understand that what we are saying is nothing, there is nothing uh, unreasonable, or it is for good, it is for good, everybody is good, and whoever is doing mistake also understand that, yes, I did mistake and I shouldn't have. But how it is communicated and what that person feels, what that devotee feels, is really important. So are we telling, um, to put to tell them like, hey, in a different way? um, so I liked a very line that Gaur Gopal Prabhu one time was giving a class. He was telling that, um, people will forget what you said. People will forget um, uh, how many lines you said, with what intensity you said, and they will forget the whole context also. But people will never forget how you made them feel, how you uh, meaning how you spoke, so how you made them feel, meaning you hurted their feelings, you know. That pinching point is always there, right? So we have to be very careful where it is not getting pinched. If you really become very strict and let that emotional corner of a devotee get touched, and make them feel disheartened, or um, um, I don't know how do I put it in a word, like feel them bad, then that's what they will remember. They will forget all the context, like regarding what it was. Detail everything. Nobody will remember the details. Oh, there was a situation in the kitchen. I did this thing, and that's why this happened, and that, and that's why this Mataji got very angry at me, and I felt very bad. My intention was not like that, and things like that, right? Both the devotees' intentions are good. Person who is telling is good. Person who is doing also good. There is nothing wrong. But then how we told and how we made them feel, that's only will remain in their mind. Rest all details they will forget. And then that's how the impression gets created in mind about somebody. Oh, this person, stay away. This person makes me feel bad. So why I'm saying that again, learning from my own mistakes, we have to be very, very careful dealing with family members, dealing with Vaishnavas, dealing with devotees around us, and not just the devotees, right? It's all about even non-devotees, even people, colleagues in our office. Uh, we have to deal with everybody with dignity and respect, and that is to maintain our sadhana well, right? If I'm not putting, and that is actually austerity. Um, I heard in the class that to maintain or to control the mind and impulses of mind, and try to restrict the impulses, and you know that is actually austerity in this age of Kali. We can fast whole day. That's good at austerity. Yes, we'll get a credit. But better than that is austerity of mind, austerity of senses. How can I not offend anybody? How can I restrict or control my mind? If austerity of mind is the highest, then bodily austerity. Ekadashi, yeah, eat, no problem. Eat Ekadashi Prasad, Ekadashi pizza, eat to in your neck, no problem. Prasad, whatever you like. Again, I'm saying that because I cannot control um, like fasting. So obviously, certain days like 5 days or major good days, Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, Pandava, all that I do it by Krishna's mercy very nicely. But rest of the Ekadashi is like, no, so many devotees have that mood to do Ekadashi very strict, right? Not to eat anything, just drink milk or water or fruits, and that works very well for them. But austerity of mind is very, very essential. So keep our sadhana, uh, focus on our sadhana and do it better and better. Because at the end of the day, barometer in this age of Kali is the holy name. Harinam, Harinam, Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Gatir Anyatha. There is no other way. So if my chanting and hearing is proper, I am able to hear. Many times I hear, but I don't hear. Meaning, my spiritual master is speaking, Srila Prabhupada is speaking, I'm hearing a class, but it's not going in my head. So I'm hearing, my ear is hearing, but my mind is not hearing. My mind is somewhere else. So hearing, we have to focus the mind, we have to focus our intelligence, contemplate on the words, be in that pastime, be in that class, so that enlightenment comes within. But if our mind is somewhere else, then that is not hearing. So many times we may be in the altar doing arati, but thinking something else while doing arati, then we are not at the temple. So where our focus is. So to keep that focused on our sadhana, rest all things we have to manage, and that includes these rules and regulations like here mentioned in this verse. So it's 8:31. I'll take a stop here. Uh, Again, please forgive me as your humble servant if I spoke anything wrong. I'm just learning myself and struggling to maintain my sadhana. So thank you so much. If there are no questions or comment, we can end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Very nice class, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.